Sometimes you have to think outside of the box and be really creative to find the most success and make the most money. So if you want to hear about one person who is doing just that, then stay tuned.
Won't nobody love you the way they should. Won't nobody check up on you, make sure you're good. Won't nobody check those body buttons for your neck.
Hey everyone, my name is Becky Park and I am a part-time reseller on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. And today's video is really special because I have my friend Melinda from Joyfully Curated on both Instagram and YouTube to talk about her success with running Insta Story sales. So she is a Poshmark seller and she also dabbles in eBay, but she has also found some really great success running her own personal sales in her stories on Instagram. So I had the opportunity to interview her and talk to her about her experience doing that. So let's check it out. Hey guys, so here I am with Melinda, and on Instagram she is known as Joyfully Curated. And so I'm just gonna ask her a few questions, but like the main thing that I wanna get to with her with this interview is having her talk about her Insta Story sales, because I know that that's what a lot of you probably clicked on this video for, is to hear about how she did that. So the first question I have for you, Melinda, is can you just tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now, what's going on in your life, what is work like, all that kind of stuff?
Sure. So right now things are a little bit different than how they normally are. I was out of work for about a week and a half because I was a little bit sick, probably stress induced. So I recently went back. I've been there for about a week. I work in a cancer infusion center. It's outpatient, and so it's a little bit different where I work because everyone is very immune compromised. And so we're not seeing as much of the COVID cases as everyone else. We're screening on multiple levels and treating it very seriously. So if someone comes in, we try to get them away from everyone else. And so right now we're just going through a lot of like changes, trying to adapt. We're okay right now. We haven't run out of supplies. As I said, there's not very many COVID patients. So things are okay, not too stressful from there. I'm still reselling on the side. So I'm luckily part-time. So I work 3 days a week, which is really nice for that work-life balance in terms of reselling, because I've done both. So I've been a full-time nurse, and then I even tried to do full-time reselling for a little bit. I'm not sure if
I
you
didn't
know
know
that.
that. No,
Yeah,
that's so cool.
yeah. So I tried it out. I got really burnt out from nursing. And so I wanted to try out full-time reselling, and I did it for about 2 or 3 months. And I realized, that wasn't for me either. I just really enjoy, like working in a team, being around other people, that social interaction. And then when I was faced with that kind of having to really prioritize like self-discipline and time management with no one else around, it was a real struggle.
Yeah.
And just like being forced to resell just wasn't fun for me.
Yeah.
And so I've done both, and I think where I'm at right now is perfect, where I get to do both kind of part-time. And just my main goal right now is just maintaining that work-life balance, and not getting burnt out with either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know on Instagram right now too, you're talking a lot about like a house. You guys just bought a house, are building a house, something like that.
Yeah, we are building a house. So we looked for ages. I live in Houston. So we like tried to look in the city, but of course that's super expensive. And neither of us are super handy. So we didn't really want to get like an old house. We wanted like a newer house. And that was just like outside of our price range.
Mhm.
So now we're moving to the suburbs, which I wasn't too keen on the idea, but we found a neighborhood where a couple of our friends live. And so it feels not as, like we're way out in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
So
least
we're
you'll be close to your
building,
friends.
yeah, we're close to our friends. I think it's important because we don't have family here. Like neither Jason or my parents live here. And so like just having a village around you, especially since we're hoping to have kids, one day.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so it's been really fun and exciting to go see the house, especially since there's like nothing to do. So we go every few days and we go check on the house, which is super fun. And they're guessing it's going to be done in August, but by the way things look, it might be done even sooner. They're like going really fast.
Yeah.
And I'm
There's
guessing,
nothing to distract them.
yeah, my guess is they want people to close because they don't know what the economy is going to be like, and
True.
so they're scared people are going to back out. So,
Mm,
I
that
mean,
makes
we're not in a hurry, but
sense.
I don't know.
That's super exciting though. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And thank you so much for, I know you said you don't have to deal with a lot of COVID patients and you don't see a lot of them, but even the fact that that's where you work, you're like on the front line still and, helping to keep your patients safe. So thank you for serving in that way because it's
Yeah.
so scary for, people that are in the medical field right now. So,
It's really
uh,
scary. And just even being like in a hospital, like if I could work from home as a nurse, I would.
mhm.
But, just being in a hospital isn't ideal for anyone right now.
No,
Mhm.
no, it's just so scary. Okay, well, do you want to talk to us a little bit then about how you got started with reselling, why you started, and you only sell on Poshmark, right?
Um, Primarily on Poshmark, yes. And then I've dabbled a little bit with eBay,
Oh,
just
okay.
specifically for like spell. So like
Okay.
spell and gypsy. I've sold quite a few of that on
Mm,
eBay. But yes,
okay.
primarily like 95% Poshmark.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you want to talk to us about the origins of your Poshmark journey?
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's similar to a lot of people where I was just looking for a place to sell my clothes. Obviously, I have a lot of clothes, and so I wasn't wearing a lot of those things. They were new with tags. If you're taking things to say like Plato's or Buffalo Exchange, you're not getting very much money. Like at Plato's, you're getting, I don't know, like $2 or $3. And so for me, that just, wasn't worth it. And so I'm pretty sure back when I started maybe like 3 years ago, there weren't very many commercials. So I'm pretty sure I just Googled, ways to sell
Hmm.
online and I found Poshmark. And it was really easy, like listing, putting your photographs. And then once start selling, you get super hooked on it.
Hmm.
And so I pretty much, cleared out a lot of things from my closet at that time. And then I wanted to sell more. And then that's how I got into like flipping. And I've always loved thrifting. Growing up, we didn't have a ton of money. So we thrifted a lot. And so I love thrifting. And I like the idea that through like reselling, you can find these like treasures when you're thrifting and then you can give them new homes. Like I'm really into sustainability and, recycling clothes, and I'm trying to steer clear of like fast fashion right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you too is I think we actually started on Poshmark around the same time. It sounds like, listening to your timeline and
Mhm.
my story as far as why I got started on Poshmark is really similar to yours too. But I think where your business model and my business model differ a lot is that you tend to have a much more curated closet and you are listing for a certain type of person almost. Whereas I'm listing like anything under the sun. Like I'm like, can I make $2 on this? Okay, I'll throw it up on Poshmark.
Mhm.
But can you talk a little bit about maybe just like your style inspiration, where you got your sense of style from, and about sorry, I'm gonna edit that out. And about your business model a little bit, just why you chose to kind of go that curated route.
Yeah. So I wasn't always like this. I've gone through a lot of trial and error. So if you have time and you end up going towards the bottom of my closet, like many of us, all of my trash and like mistake buys are at the bottom of my closet.
Uh-huh.
In the beginning, you get so excited. So whenever you're outsourcing and you see like any anthropology brand, you're like, oh, I gotta buy this. Or you see like Lily Pulitzer and you get excited, just any of those name brand things I would buy. And so I've been there, where I was buying everything and I made a lot of mistake purchases. Um, which, some of those are still at the bottom of my closet, but I'm trying not to do that anymore for a couple of reasons. So when I would source like that, a lot of the times I would bring these items home and I wasn't excited about them anymore,
Mhm.
and then that's how I ended up with a death pile, and it just grew and grew and grew, and it's still there. I'm still dealing with it. I've offloaded a lot of it through like these Insta Story sales, but I still have a death pile. And so, through that process, I've learned what really like motivates me to get things listed is bringing home things that bring me joy. And so
Mhm.
things that I'm excited about, So anything with like fun patterns or prints, bright colors, like kind of like this top, anything that I might personally wear or that I could see someone else wearing, and being really excited to get in the mail are things, I'm trying to source these days.
Mm-hmm.
And also, on that on that same note, I don't have as much time to list things, and so part of my business model is I'm not in it for like the quick flips, um, where I'm trying to make all these high volume sales because I just don't have the time, and I really like to put a lot of intentionality and heart into like my packages, like when I'm writing cards and stuff. So it just doesn't make sense, and I wouldn't be able to do it if I had these high volume sales. So like my business model, I'm looking kind of for that right buyer to come along. So things will tend to sit. Um, and then I'm also looking to have a certain price point in terms of profit. Like I won't pick something up if I'm only going to make $5 or $10.
And that's where you and I are different.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
it's I'm not an expert like photographer and lister. Like maybe if I were faster at it, okay. But I'm kind of slow and I do a lot of research whenever I'm looking up comps. So I dedicate a lot of time to one listing. So if I'm taking that much time for one listing, then it only makes sense that, I want to make a big profit.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time I really differ from that is if it's an item that I really, really love and I just want it in my closet for whatever reason. Like maybe it's aesthetic or brand, like a brand that I don't normally come across. And I want to bring that brand into my closet and attract those kind of buyers. So sometimes I'll source those things knowing I won't make much profit or very little profit. So that's the only time I'll buy things knowing I'm only going to make a little bit of profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're deciding what to put in your closet and really what to source, where are you gathering inspiration or information from as far as what you're looking for, what is acceptable for you to, bring home and put in your closet now that you are only trying to pick things that, bring you joy and things that you want to list? What kinds of things are you thinking about as far as this is meeting the criteria, this isn't? I'm like not really formulating that very clearly.
So it's like outside sources and like just internally. So like I've always been into fashion. If I weren't a nurse and I had known more about fashion and that, it could be a successful career for me, I might have actually gone into fashion. Like my dream job would probably be like being a buyer for Anthropologie or opening up my own kind of boutique like Anthropologie. So I would have done that. So I've just always loved fashion. So like in college, I would watch a lot of YouTube videos, like people's hauls, not reselling hauls, because I didn't know about reselling at the time. So it would just be like fashion hauls. I would watch a lot of YouTubers, watch their hauls. I don't really have time for that anymore. So these days, it looks more like me following bloggers or influencers on Instagram. And so that's where I'm kind of seeing like what's in, what's trending. I really like watching runway shows, like fashion movies, and just kind of being observant when you're out in public. So when you're shopping, kind of seeing, what's in stores, what's on trend, or what people are wearing. Go to a trendy part of town and, see what all the college kids or adults are wearing, Yeah. So I guess half me and what I like and think is cool, and then half, what other people are thinking is cool.
Awesome. And who are some of the bloggers and influencers that you're following, just out of curiosity?
So I really like Song of Style. So that's Tommy Song. Do you know her?
Yeah, I just started following her. Someone recommended that I follow her. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I love her. And then I really like Julia from Gal Meets Clam.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know her. I'm gonna follow her now.
So you don't know like Gal Meets Glam, like the brand?
I know the brand, and
Okay.
that's what I'm wearing right now. This is something that I
Oh, yeah,
bought.
that's right. We talked about
Yeah,
that.
no. So I have a couple pieces by Gal Meets Glam now. I bought one from you. I bought one from Voyage is a Verb. I don't know anything about the story behind the brand or anything. So now that there is like a name attached to the brand, I'll definitely look her up.
Oh,
What's her
yeah.
name again?
I think I forget her last name, Julia.
Okay.
So she started the brand, and a lot of it's based on her personal style,
Hmm.
um, which is really cool because she likes like classic feminine pieces. So
Hmm.
it's Julia Hengel.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really like following her a lot. I'll let you know if I think of any others, but
Okay.
those are just the top two that pop in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was following, and I thought it was Amy's song because I'm ignorant, but Ami's song, it seems like. And then I will add this Julia person. Okay, so let's talk about your Insta story sales. First of all, do you want to just talk us through like what even is that? Because I'm sure there are some people watching that are like, what are you talking about? So maybe
Yeah.
just explain what it is and why you decided to try it out.
That's a good question. And I didn't even realize that people didn't know what it was, but I got
Uh-huh.
so many questions like after I had mine, like, what is an Insta story sale? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess this is not common knowledge.
Uh-huh.
Um, so the way I do it is I hold an Insta story sale in my stories on Instagram, and I will have, you can do it in multiple ways. So some people like to do like photographs in their stories, and some people like to do video clips. And I do video clips just because I feel like I can get the most information in a video clip. Because, you can show the item, you can be talking about the item, and then you can write a description of the item.
Hmm.
So for me, whenever I'm videoing, I'll be showing the item, describing it if there's any flaws or any key things that I want the buyer to know. And then I'll put a little description, and I'll have the brand, the size, and the amount shipped. So from there, people just DM you if they want the item. And for me, it's just the first person to DM me and pay for the item, then it's theirs. And then I use PayPal for all of my transactions typically. So with PayPal, I'll send them an invoice, and then I'll actually ship through PayPal as well, just because it's
Awesome.
the most convenient. And then tracking is automatic through PayPal, and they can check on it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How many times have you run an Insta story sale?
twice. Yeah, but I did learn a lot from those two times. So the first time was when I was doing a clear out of my personal closet, and that ended up being a ton of pieces, which was really embarrassing. So those were extra small pieces, and I had over 100 pieces. And if you're going to have an Insta story sale like this, I'm not sure if your closet's as big as mine, but you cannot have more than 100 clips at one time, because then they'll start getting deleted.
So they just got deleted?
Yeah. So as you go over 100, those ones earlier start getting deleted.
Oh, that's crazy. And you didn't know.
I did not. I still ended up selling a lot,
Yeah.
but I did not know that. So that was
Oh,
a bummer.
that's so annoying. Yeah. But that's a great tip. So don't go over 100 clips
Yeah.
in your Insta story. Okay.
So that was my first sale. And then my second one, just because I had so much success with the first one, and then there were a lot of people who were voicing that they wished I had sold other sizes. I decided to do another sale, and I had such a huge death pile. And these weren't even necessarily like, most of them weren't bad pieces. They're just things that I really don't have time to list.
Hmm.
And then things like I was talking about before that I knew I wasn't going to make a big profit on.
Hmm.
So maybe things where you'll make more, like a $10 to $20 profit. I just
Yeah.
don't have time for that. And, it's not really part of my business model.
Yeah. And this way you didn't have to take the time to list the item and photograph the item and do all that stuff. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's an immediate sale. So, like on
mhm,
Poshmark, you're listing and it's going to sit there for who knows how long.
yeah. And you have to share it and you have to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So how far apart were the two sales?
I think within a couple of weeks, maybe a month or a month and a half.
Okay.
They do take a lot of work, so I needed time to kind of recover.
Yeah, because not only is it a lot of work to like show each item and make the video clips and stuff, that's almost the easy part compared to like then afterwards dealing with all the DMs and like who sent me a DM about this piece first, and then shipping, I'm sure was a ton of fun.
It's a whole process, and you have to be really organized and stay
Mhm.
on top of it. Otherwise, it's just chaos.
Yeah.
And even before you like start your sale, you're doing or at least for me, I did a lot of promoting
Hmm.
for it via posts and my stories. So just the entire time you're doing a lot of work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in your second sale, did you have as many items up for sale as you did in the first sale, you think?
Yeah, I definitely had more.
Oh, you had more. Okay.
Yeah, because I brought things back from my
Mhm.
first sale because a
Mhm.
lot of those got deleted. So
Yeah.
I still sold, I repeated those things, like the things that I'd sold for my personal closet
Mhm.
that were size extra small and small. I brought them into that second sale too,
Mhm.
and then added the other sizes.
Okay, awesome. So how much time would you say it took? Let's take out the like promoting and marketing part because we'll talk about that later, but how much time would you say it took from the moment you started filming each piece to shipping out the last thing? Like how long did this sale take you, do you
So
think?
what about like prep, like putting all these things on hangers?
That's so true too. Okay, let's break down maybe like section by section. So the prep part, even like pulling everything, deciding what you were going to sell. I don't know if you like had to like steam stuff or but yeah, maybe if you want to just even talk about what that prep period looked like and how long it took you.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. But like, yeah, so the first thing is pulling everything. So like pulling everything, and then I just like dumped everything on this giant fold out table. So that was my method. And I would stack it into piles according to size.
Hmm.
So I like stuck all my extra small and small on this part of the table, and then, medium, large, extra large. So even just pulling things, probably at least an hour, maybe a few hours, like
Hmm.
2 or 3 hours, just like pulling things. And
Oh
so
my,
I did that a couple of days leading up to the sale.
okay.
That was like step one. And then, like the night before, sometimes even the morning of the sale, that's when I stuck everything on hangers. And I
Hmm.
don't have a ton of hangers. It would have been nice, but I would use up all my hangers and just get everything hung. And then the morning of, I would have to break it into sections. So I would go through all my hangers and film everything and upload it. And then I would take a little break. And then I have to take all of those things off hangers and then put on like the next round of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so once my sale's going, say I started my sale at like 10 a.m., then I'm filming, and you could even like film the day before and save
Uh-huh.
these stories and upload them the next day, but I decided to do it the day of.
And did you film directly through Instagram or did you make like a
I
video?
did.
Okay.
So I filmed through Instagram just because I wanted to use that like 15-second
Hmm.
clip.
Yeah.
And because I try to do like one clip per item.
Yeah.
So I did it through stories just because I would know like my 15-second time frame. Yeah, 15-second time frame, and then I could save it. Like, you
Yes.
can save it into your camera roll.
Hmm.
So yeah, I did it the day up. So that process, just like filming and getting it uploaded, I felt like it took a long time, like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh my God.
But this is like filming and changing out all the racks, and
Yeah.
then sometimes I'm like taking a lunch break or like
Yeah.
a bathroom break.
Yeah.
And mind you, like for my sales, I'm selling like hundreds of things.
Yes.
So yeah.
Which makes it worth your time too. I
Yeah.
think it's like a lot of time at once,
Mhm.
but at the end of it, you have a lot of sales to show for it versus like, I'm going to do a sale with 8 items and like maybe
Yeah.
one of them will sell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I made the most of my sale by like cramming as many pieces as I
Yeah.
could. Oh, and also for my second sale, it was a 3-day event. So I split it up by sizes. So like Friday was large and extra large, Saturday was medium and small, and then Sunday got its like a whole dedicated day just for extra small items
Yeah.
because that many extra small items.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did
Um,
this 3 times.
So you don't have to answer this if you don't want, but do you know the numbers as far as like how many items did you have for sale and how many did you end up selling? Or even if you want to guesstimate like a percentage of the items that you had for sale that you ended up selling?
Yeah, I'm so bad at this. Like,
I am
numbers,
too.
I just kind of guess,
Yeah.
which is not great. But luckily, both of us work, and so we don't depend on this money. So
Mhm.
I don't feel like I'm as strict as I necessarily need to be.
Yeah.
So that kind of justifies why I do a
That's what
little.
I keep telling myself too.
But yeah, so on both days, hundreds. So at least 100, maybe 200 for both sales. The first sale, and I wrote it all down in my notebook too. I wish I had my notebook. The first sale, I probably sold like 30 things. So that was for my personal closet. And then the second sale, I don't know, like 50 or 60. And I'm still selling things. So I just left them up in my highlights. So
Oh yeah.
randomly, like these days, sometimes people will still DM me
Hmm.
and purchase things from the highlights that are left over.
That's a really good tip too. Like just because the sale is over doesn't mean that you can't continue to try to sell your items that way. And then I feel like you would say in your stories too, if something is still in my stories, that means it still hasn't been claimed, so it's still for sale. So there was also that work of, as things sold, you had to go through and delete those 15-second clips of whatever you had sold, right?
Um, kind of. So I did a variation of both. So like with my first sale, I deleted them as they sold, but
Hmm.
then with the second sale, I didn't for a particular reason. So when someone DMs you, and they're responding to that clip will show up in your DMs with that message that the person's
Oh,
responding.
uh-huh.
Once you delete it out of your stories, it deletes it out of your DMs too.
Oh,
Like
that's so
seeing
true.
it, like I would write it down in my notebook as they were coming in, but sometimes I liked knowing like just visually which
Mhm,
DM they were responding to. So I just
mhm.
kept it there so I could refer back to the DM. Does that make
That makes a lot
sense?
of sense, yeah.
Yeah. And then like after the sale had gone through, as in like I had shipped it off and it was like now in my highlights, at that point, once it's out of my house, then I would go back and delete it.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. And then kind of going back to numbers a little bit, just because you're so amazing at that, as am I. Um, how much would you guesstimate that you made off of these sales? And we're not talking profit necessarily, because we know a lot of it was stuff that you had bought for yourself, and you just
Mhm.
realized that you weren't reaching for those items, so you're like, I'm going to get rid of it. But just
Yeah.
gross sales wise.
Yeah. But yeah, it's for me, it's like still kind of profit because it's like money going back into my bank account, and like those things that I bought, I consider it kind of like spent, right? So it's like
Hmm.
money spent. So for me, it kind of is profit,
Yeah.
but I know what you're saying. So that first sale, I sold like $700 to $800 worth of stuff,
Hmm.
which was awesome because Franny, my dog, had a dental cleaning that next week, and it
Uh-huh.
like more than paid for her dental cleaning, which was
Yeah.
awesome. And then my second sale, it was over $1,000. So maybe like $1,100.
Crazy. And
Yeah.
that's amazing because $700 or $800, that was in one day. And
Yeah.
like the 1100 was kind of spread out between three, but still that's, we would kill for weekends like that on Poshmark or eBay or
Right.
whatever. So that's
Right.
amazing. Wow.
Yeah. I was kind of blown away just with the response and how much I sold. But
Hmm. So shipping, how long do you think that took you?
oh my gosh, shipping was definitely like the whole day.
Yeah.
So like right when I woke up, I started, and then I pretty much went until right before the post office closed
Yeah.
so that I could ship them out that day.
It's crazy.
Um, but it just depends on the person. Like I put a lot of like effort into mine, or I try to, especially
Hmm.
now that I have time. So like my packaging and such, and I
Hmm.
like fold everything with that clothing folder.
Hmm.
So it can be faster.
Yeah.
For mine.
No, and I bought from you twice, I think, during the span of your sale. I think you did a good job of like kind of, making me stop and being like, okay, I think this is your this is your cutting point. I'm cutting you off, which was I'm very thankful. But like both times that I got my packages in the mail, I was like, this is so pretty. Like it was gorgeously wrapped, like everything. It just seemed like so much care had gone into it. And I think that is the way to do it, especially if someone's going to shop your sale like this, to like have the end result be, oh, here's this beautiful package versus, okay, she threw it in a bag and then just like let it fend for itself in the post, So that was a nice way to kind of like end it for me as far as, okay, I made the purchase and now here's the item and it's beautiful and it's everything I thought it was going to be. So thank you for doing that. And I'm sure your other customers were so happy. That's awesome. Were there any like glitches or any issues with posts or things not tracking or anything like that that you hadn't, thought about, or just
Not
bad things that came up?
not really. So there are, I guess, like two minor issues. So everything tracked okay. But the first issue was I had someone purchase a bigger bundle, maybe it was like 3 or 4 items, and then I forgot to package a purse with it that she had bought. So that was my bad. I don't know why I forgot it. So I had to send it separately. So I
Mhm.
ended up paying extra shipping just to
Yeah.
send it separately. And then the second thing, I had someone inquire about her package because it never got delivered to her.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, so I guess maybe a week had gone by and she hadn't gotten it. So I just told her to, check the tracking. Luckily with PayPal, you can easily
Mhm.
access the tracking. Um, and then it turned out later it had gotten delivered to like her neighbor or something.
Oh,
Her neighbor brought it to her.
oh, good.
So it worked out.
And to ship, did you ship through like pirate ship or something? Like, what did you use to ship stuff out? Did you go directly through USPS?
Yeah, so it's through USPS, but I did it through the PayPal platform.
Oh,
So
that's so
yeah,
interesting.
so like in your summary, you sold via PayPal, right?
I have, but I've always used Pirate Ship, and then I've just input the tracking information that Pirate Ship gives me onto the PayPal invoice, where it
Mhm.
asks you like for the tracking information. So I've never actually done it
Oh,
directly through PayPal. I didn't even know that that was an option. So
yeah.
now I know.
You're looking at like your summary and
Yeah.
you'll like, click on that transaction. There's an option saying like purchase shipping or something or
Hmm.
print shipping label. And then once you click that, it kind of links you up with USPS and then
Okay.
you purchase that way and print
So
it.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did not know that, but now I know, and that's like a time save as far as not having to go through pirate ship. Although I wonder if it's a little bit cheaper going through pirate ship. I don't know, but that's just, again, another added step that doesn't seem super necessary. I'm trying to think of like if I had any other questions for you. Is there anything else that you want to share regarding your Insta story sales, especially maybe like tips for people who want to try doing the same sort of thing?
Um, sure. I think there's a couple of reasons that I found a lot of success with it. Um, that's specific to me. So because it worked for me, I don't know if it'll necessarily work for everyone else. So like specifically for me, I have a decent amount of followers. And I
How many
think
followers do you have?
um 15,000, a
Yeah.
little over 15,000.
Mhm.
Um and so like with my followers and my feed specifically, I don't just my content isn't just reselling. So it's like a hodgepodge of things. And a part of the hodgepodge is fashion and like style, and kind of like my fashion sense and my brand. And I think people have come to like know me
Mhm.
for like a certain aesthetic or a certain brand and style. And it might, speak to them or, be stuff that they're excited about.
Mhm.
And so I feel like anytime I do something like this, like an Insta story sale or maybe like mystery boxes, I do get a lot of interest. I think maybe that's why, because people kind of know what to expect in terms of what I'm going to be selling. And
Mhm.
so that's like one thing why I think I was really successful. And then two, just the sheer volume of things that I carried. Um, and I had a lot of like cute anthropology things,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably why I had success with it. But I think it can work for people. I just don't want people to get like deterred or like sad or upset if, it's not as successful for them. And that those might just be reasons why.
For sure.
Mhm.
And I know we had said we'd go back to talking about marketing a little bit, but I do think kind of what you were saying earlier too was that the majority of your promoting and marketing is, for the sale, it was all done on Instagram because that's where the sale was going to take place. And you had 15,000 followers to promote your sale to. Whereas if someone is just starting and they have 500 followers or 100 followers, it's not going to be as effective because it's a little bit harder to draw people to your stories to shop from your Insta story sales. So I think what you're saying is right. Like, I think a lot of people might have the drive and the passion to try to pull something like this off, but it's a little bit harder to do on your scale if they don't have as big of a following. So that is something to kind of like consider and think about. And I think what you were saying too about your feed is also kind of curated on Instagram, even though it is a hodgepodge of, you're talking about, life with your husband, you're talking about your dog, you're talking about your house stuff, but a lot of it is about your aesthetic and your fashion sense. And your feed is beautiful, by the way. Like, it's so like colorful and just like beautiful prints. And like sometimes I'll just show my husband, I'm like, look at her closet. Like, look at all and I'm like, and this is all for her stuff. Like, like it's just so beautiful. And like you said, I think people respond to that and come to associate your Instagram page with a certain like feeling or a certain whatever, and so people have more of an inclination to shop from you, like you said, when you're running these sort of sales or selling mystery boxes. Whereas people who don't have as clear of a vision on their Instagram feed of who they are and their brand, it's kind of harder for people to trust them or even, want to shop their sale or anything like that. So I think that is a really good piece of advice and just kind of disclaimer of this is why I was really successful. Like, I put the work in beforehand and then I was able to reap the rewards.
It's going to take a long time for you to develop and kind of create a space like that. I've had my Instagram for a few years now, at least 2 or 3. I took a year off, just took a break from Instagram.
Wow, a whole year. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was when I was figuring stuff out. I got burnt out from nursing. I was going to try out full-time reselling. I didn't know what I wanted, so I just took a year off of Instagram. But yeah, it's going to take time to create that space, and you have to be a little bit vulnerable when you have that kind of space. For people to get to know you, you're going to have to let people in. Because a lot of people, their reselling pages are dedicated to reselling, and that's it. Sometimes I don't even know what they look like, the people, because they don't feature themselves. And so with those kind of pages, it's a little bit harder to do something like what I did. So I think for you to have that kind of space, you've got to be vulnerable and share a lot of yourself and your heart. Kind of let people in and get to know you.
Yeah. And I think that's so interesting and true because yes, I think people shop from you because you've got this beautiful feed and stuff, but they're also shopping from you because they want to support you, because you've given them the opportunity to get to know you and get to know your life, and they like you, and so they want to support you in that sense. But like you said, it can be a little bit harder if you've never actually put yourself out there, you've never shared any of your struggles or made yourself vulnerable in front of your audience. So it can make it harder for people to have any sort of desire to support you in that way. So I think that's a really good point too, to just
the connection. People like having that connection with you. I know I do.
Awesome. Where can people find you? I kind of told them, but
social media or
yeah, not like your house, not like here's her address. Like you can ask for a personal tour.
So my main platform is Instagram. So it's Joyfully Curated. I didn't realize, I don't know why, like curated must be like a really hard word for people to know or say, because I get all sorts of like joyfully created.
Oh.
I don't even know, but curated is just really hard. But yeah, it's Joyfully Curated on Instagram, and then that's my Poshmark handle as well. I wanted them to be the same. So whenever I was switching my closet name, I thought long and hard about it because I knew I didn't want to start an Instagram until I knew what I wanted my closet name to be. And I wanted them to be the same because I wanted people to be able to find each other and then kind of remember what my name was. Because at first it was something random, like Melly 14.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember that. Yeah. And so that was my main platform. I do have a YouTube. but you probably don't want to subscribe to me because I haven't posted a video in, I don't even know, over a year or something. And I
But
think
you have videos up there?
yeah, you didn't know that?
No. Okay, now I'm gonna stalk you on YouTube too and watch all your videos.
Like, I think I have like 2 source with me's, maybe like a thrift haul, and then my one video where I've kind of made it is my final cut when I went to Georgia and
Yeah.
the anthropology outlet. That video, I just left it alone, and then I came back and it had, I don't know, like 7,000 views.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
people really love Final Cut.
Yeah. And I think because there are so few, is there just the one?
I think there's 2
Okay.
last that I was aware, like maybe
Okay.
Jersey, but I don't know if that one closed down.
Yeah. But I think also because like there's only 1 or 2, I think people are definitely searching for that on YouTube because it's just, most people aren't going to be able to go there. So they're living vicariously through people like you, apparently. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
amazing. So definitely check out her YouTube channel as well. Do you
Oh,
have any plans? She said, don't. Do you have any plans on coming back to YouTube and making videos more consistently?
honestly don't know because YouTube, as you know, takes up so much time.
Hmm.
Just filming a video is so tedious and takes forever. And then don't even get me started on the editing. I don't even edit. I just like send it off to my husband and he edits for
Yeah,
me. But still, and then like loading, it takes forever. And I don't know, it's just so much work.
it
Uh,
is.
and so right now I've mostly been focusing my efforts on like content for Instagram just because it's funner, it's quicker. I can put out 5 posts in one day, and it's fine. Whereas
Yeah.
YouTube, it's like some big project.
It
So
is. And it's funny because I think YouTube is a lot of work. I think that Instagram is actually really high maintenance and oftentimes I'm just like, nope, not going to deal with so sometimes I'll go like a month long stretch where I just don't really put any thought or effort into it. And then I'll go like a week where I go hard and I have a post up every day, but
mhm,
I don't know, like Instagram for me is kind of hard, but I feel like again, you're just really good at it and it seems like you enjoy it,
yeah,
and you enjoy that community a lot too. So I think that makes sense, but it just goes to show like different things are going to work for different people and that's okay. And whatever works for you works for you.
yeah.
Um and what are you wearing right now? Your top is so cute. I love it.
Oh, okay. So everyone loves this top. I mean, I love
It's
this
so
top.
cute.
So it is a Zara crochet sweater. I actually got this secondhand. It's from Crossroads. So whenever I went
Oh.
to Posh Fest Dallas, that Crossroads had like just opened up. And so I got this from there. And then I'm just wearing some sweatpants on the bottom.
I'm wearing like yoga pants underneath this dress, so I feel you.
Yeah.
Well, Melinda, I cannot think of anything else because I think you did a really good job of covering all the bases. But thank you so much for being my very first like formal interview that I've ever done for video on YouTube. Again, I just thought that the way you run your business is so intriguing because it is so different from how I run mine. And I thought that it would just be really cool to kind of get inside your head a little bit as far as doing something like an Insta Story sale because not a lot of people are doing it. And even more than that, like very few people are finding as much success with it as you did. So I think this will be really interesting for people to learn about. I'm sure we'll see like a ton of Insta Story sales popping up all of a sudden as a result of this video. Hopefully that'd be kind of cool, But yeah, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. And I don't know, do you have anything else you want to say or
No, but I really hope people do more Insta story sales and that we're able to just share secondhand clothing to
yeah.
more people and just a wider audience. Because I know, like on my Instagram, I even have personal like friends who follow me. I don't know how they found me, but they did. Like I have like old coworkers, some family members who follow me there, and one of my Insta story sales was actually one of my old coworkers.
Oh,
She
that's
bought
awesome.
like a two-piece bundle. I still have to give it to her. We had plans to hang out, but obviously that's not happening.
Yeah.
I'm just hanging
Yeah.
on to her bundle. But the point is, like, I got to get her to buy secondhand clothes. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Actually, I have seen like former students run Insta Story Sales too. Just stuff like before they go to college, they're like, I'm getting rid of this, I'm getting rid of this. And like other students would buy it and stuff, which is really cute, you know? So I
Yeah.
think it can work in a variety of ways. And like you said, even though the way that you do it is marketed more towards your followers, there are other people who are in other circles of your life that will inevitably find you on Instagram and want to support you in that way too. And especially if you can then turn them on to the idea of giving used clothing a shot, that's really cool. So how neat is that? Yeah.
So
Well, thank you so much, Melinda. It was a pleasure. And I will let you go back to your life now. And that's it. Thank you so much.
So thank you guys so much for checking out my interview with Melinda. Hopefully you are inspired to try some new things, whether it is running your own Insta story sale or figuring out a different way to make some money and sell all that stuff you have lying around your house. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a like on your way out. Don't forget to subscribe if you've never subscribed to my channel before. And I think that's it. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.